Hey, what's going on, all you crazy mirrorless nuts like us? It's Jamie McDonald here with Mike Banning for episode number 57 of Mirrorless Minutes. Not like the 57 Chevy, but like I can't believe we've been doing this for 57 episodes.
Right.
Holy
No
crap.
kidding. 57. I think I look at that every time we do the show. I go, wow, that's a lot of episodes because every other week,
Yeah.
start to add this up. This, it's 100 weeks.
Yeah. We're
Quick math, too.
Yeah, with math. Yeah. Mike's mathing it up for us tonight.
Yeah,
that's
big
awesome.
time.
After my day at work today, that's all I deal with is numbers,
Yeah.
blueprints, and stuff. I don't want to math. I'm done mathing. I don't even want to. I don't even want to adult anymore. I just want to be a kid for a minute. So.
Yeah, no kidding. I think this is our only time.
Yeah, it is too. It really is. I mean, I feel like it right now, but
for sure.
So I titled the show "Get a Grip." Yeah. Well, because we got grips, right?
So you sound that sounds like a commercial. We got grips.
We got grips. We don't have the meats. We have the grips.
Right. and they're grippy.
They're mega grippy.
The grip on the E-M1 MarkII. Wow. It is this is it is a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
I will tell you what, it adds a little heft. There's no doubt about it, but it's the heft you need, I think.
Right. It's funny because pre-show, Mike and I were talking about the grip. And I said, well, maybe I should get the E-M1 MarkI down that I have that's gripped. Yeah. For like to do some side-by-side stuff. And when I got it down and sat it next to the MarkII on the table, I thought, wow, these don't even look like the same camera, which harkens back to a discussion that I had online somewhere, talking about how the MarkII almost isn't even, I kind of in my heart feel like it shouldn't be the MarkII. I almost feel like it should be its own, own number, it should be its own thing because it is so different. But so just a side-by-side, you can kind of see that there's some height difference here. If I try to get the bottoms level with each other, there definitely is a big size difference. I mean, we're accommodating the larger battery in the MarkII.
Right. And the same goes for the grip because obviously that big battery's got
exactly. And I'm sure everybody's already seen photos and maybe some videos of the new battery grip, but we have a directional pad on the battery grip now. That's
what I wanted to show is I've grabbed mine off the camera, but boy, that is huge. That directional grip now to move around the focus point or whatever else. I mean, so you can adjust your menus, everything with one hand now.
And you can navigate with the dials, but I'll be honest, I have never adopted that way of working with my cameras. I see people that, it's weird. I mean, it is probably the more efficient way to do it. And I've seen people fly, like the tech reps that we have at Olympus. Those guys they're like savants with the menu system. They can fly through stuff with the dials. And I'm like, holy crap. Like I systematically thumb through, with the directional pad. And I'm kind of glad to see it on the grip because that's just how I work. It just feels more comfortable to me. And in all honesty, I think part of it subconsciously, or I'm just justifying it to myself, is that I think by slowing down doing that, it slows my whole process down, which probably isn't a bad thing. When you're a tech rep, you probably want to just hammer through and get to where you need to be. So I get them doing the dials. But
well, do you you're talking about like when you're in the super control panel and
flying around.
I absolutely use the darn
so do I.
The thing constantly.
I've tried to use the dials. I overshoot where I'm going every time. And then I'm like, all right, we're going too far. We're coming back around, baby. We're going to get it the second time.
Right. Yeah. And I figured to myself, I could have just got that if I would have stayed with the normal way.
Yeah, right.
And the buttons and the dials. In fact, the dial on the forefinger, let's call it that one right there, for compared to the other grip for the E-M1, really has like a nice indentation. It's probably hard to see, but it's got a real nice indentation that your finger sort of stays within there. So you're getting ready to shoot at the same time.
Right.
It really is nice. Good for pro capture.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned like the indentation, the thumb rest portion of the grip as well. It's one of those things. I don't think people talk about this stuff, or I think if it's designed well enough, people don't feel the need to talk about it or even notice it. But the ergonomics are like spot on. Now I talk about this constantly. I don't have giant ham hands. I've got like medium, smallish hands, and it fills my hand like great. So I'd imagine somebody with even bigger hands, it's probably a welcome addition to the camera to have a grip like that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you're right, because I think if it feels right, you don't necessarily think it's changed. You go, oh, that's the way it should be.
Right.
But when you go pick up the other one, you're like, oh, now I know what they did. Now I know how they changed it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely more depth to it. I know, my fingertips, as I'm reaching down in, I'm sunk further into the camera. I mean, you're not going to drop the camera hold, not do it with the grip. That's for sure.
Right. And like we were saying before the show, with the 300 on, or especially the 40 to 150, even better. But that 300, you really need that extra holding power. Even though it has extra stabilization, I think the holding power is important.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I know, again, that was kind of one of the things I was going to mention too, is that, shooting with the 300, especially, I drive around, that's in the bag right back there behind my thumb. That's been in my car with me every day this week, hoping for some good wildlife shots on my commute. And, it's such a different system to shoot with more substantial grip. And, this will be like one of those controversial things to talk about, is that because it is so much bigger, I know I hear people say stuff like, well, you're getting away from the point of Micro Four Thirds being a smaller system. Yeah. But here's the thing. It can stay small. It doesn't have to be big. There's nothing there's no mandate that says, thou must have the grip on the E-M1 MarkII. You don't have to. I mean, when I want the bigger system to balance out better with the 300 or the 40 to 150, and I want the extra staying power of 2 batteries, then I'll grip that sucker up. Or if I don't want it huge, I'm blessed in this position with Olympus that I can do this, but I'll just switch to a smaller camera. You don't have to carry the big giant one. And a lot of people who are in this system that I know personally, most people have 2 bodies, and they don't all have both. A lot of them have, the E-M1 or an E-M5 Mark II, and then a smaller body like an E-M10 or one of the pens. So you can still maintain that small form factor. You just don't carry the big stuff when you don't need the big stuff. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, you're going to go street shooting and it's, not pouring, and you take out the Pen F and make it happen. Yeah, exactly. It keeps it small and little, and you could still do street shooting with this if you want. We did it in New York the whole time. Yeah. It wasn't obtrusive to have it. So not at all. I mean, nothing compared to what an old DSLR would have been like. So, it's still definitely going to be smaller than a big full frame camera or something, without a doubt. But you mentioned DSLR. Yep. I think that I really want to find some DSLR shooters. I know a gentleman that lives in Jackson, south of me, who's a sports shooter. I need to get with him. Scott Mapes, if you watch this show ever, we need to get together. I want him to shoot this camera with us, because he shoots Canons. And he does, like higher end sports. He's not like Sports Illustrated big, but he does shoot for like a large media company here in Michigan. And I think he's interested in what mirrorless can do. And I think that this is the mirrorless camera that DSLR shooters have been waiting for. This is the one he needs to put in his hands, because I think it's going to feel like a DSLR to him when it's gripped. Yeah. The function is there. You don't get the mirror or the EVF blackout like you would on previous generations when shooting sports. So yeah, it really is. And I've got some stuff scheduled up. I can't wait for the month of December, because basketball really starts kicking off this Friday, a lot of the high schools. So I've got a few things put together already to go shoot. And not that I wouldn't be excited to shoot anyways, but now with this, I'm really excited to get out and see what I can capture. I just got to get ready to have a bunch of extra cards with me. I have a feeling if I used to do 1,000, I might do 2,000 shots. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to really think through my shooting situation. Throttle back for a minute. Right. Exactly. All right. So, well, let's see, since the last time we were there, you want to talk about our survey that we put out? The survey says, we didn't we announce it like towards the end of the last show?
I think we said, hey, you know what? We'd like to get everybody's opinion on. We're going to do a workshop next year. We, I'm sure we'll do more than one. But how about you tell us where you want to have it? Because we've got people I know that watch the show and talk to us from all over the country and all over the world, actually. So we've got some good responses, almost 200 responses total that went through and took the survey. It was really a 1-question survey, so it wasn't too hard to take.
Yeah.
But the and we see, where do we get? I like the Munich, Germany one.
North Korea was an interesting suggestion.
I thought that North Korea, Tasmania was cool, and I know who that is. I've talked to her.
Yeah.
That would be unbelievable.
It would be incredible.
Yeah, she showed me, I think that one time, what was out her back door, like how the water was actually blue. I mean, everything was blue. I said, oh, geez. I was thinking if Jamie went there, he may never come back.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
So we with 18% of the vote, it's getting all political now. With 18% of the vote, it looks like Chicago was the winner.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I was surprised, actually.
So was I, to be honest with you.
I really didn't think Chicago would be the winner. I thought we would have had somebody say something. Let's see. Now I got to try to remember. What did I tell you? It was Nashville was second.
Nashville and Philly.
Philly again was third, where we did it last year.
Yeah.
But and Nashville still was pretty far away, even from Chicago. So,
and I have wondered, do you think that it could be just because Chicago is a really easy in?
I think so.
I mean, it's a major airport. It's easy, and it's easy to get an affordable flight to Chicago.
Yeah. If you're gonna fly, you can. If you're in the Midwest and you want to fly to Chicago, you can get them on $100 or less for round trips.
Yep. And I guess it's you could kind of call it like a baby New York. I mean, it's as close as you can get to the New York experience without New York. So
definitely. So that's the plan. Now, we haven't sat down and come up with a date yet. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, date and format. Mike and I experimented with a different format here in Michigan, and I was really racking my brains once he told me that it was Chicago. I was really starting to think of is there a way to do like our small town to downtown format, which is basically some urban and city shooting for part of it, and then the other part of it would be like countryside. I really don't know how to pull that off easily in Chicago with a group that doesn't, it would involve a fair amount of, logistics with travel, but I mean, it's totally doable. And maybe that's something I research and find out, how to make it happen. And then we just kind of pull those people again and see if that's what they want to do, or if they want to stick to just the city.
Yeah. And you know what, we can, and I thought about that too. I'm thinking the city, I think we can make it, I know we wanted to talk about doing a lot of live composite, and even if you go, I guarantee you we'll stop once at Chicago Theater, but I don't think we're going to stop 7 times out of Chicago.
It might be just a brief stop, and we might even do that. Yeah.
Now, if everybody that's on this workshop is shot the Chicago Theater, we're skipping. We won't.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just all share our shot that we've taken at one time, but I don't care to stop, especially if someone hasn't gotten it, because I know how I feel when I want to see a shot. I want to get my own. Of the same thing. So I think I know we'll put some of that in there no matter what, but I think we do a lot of architecture stuff too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Cityscapes. We when we were in Chicago last, we really didn't attack any cityscapes. That darn University of Chicago.
Yeah. I was thinking about that when Chicago got brought up. I was thinking, that could be a spot, that fills up some of the time.
It'd be like traveling to Hogwarts, climb the tower.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's
a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah. I was just watching that video there. We were asked to send in a couple video clips, and I had that video clip of us climbing the tower, and I thought I didn't submit it because it was just too weird. It kept going in circles, and
it was interesting. It was a lot of stairs. I don't know if I'd subject workshop attendees to that many steps, but
you'd have a choice. You stay down and shoot the church, or go up the stairs, I think.
Yeah. So, I guess over the next month and a half or so, just
Yeah.
kind of to keep an eye out. We'll do some announcements or some posts talking about. We'll firm up some dates. We've got holidays coming up here, and
Yep.
We'll get through that, and then we'll firm up some dates and a format and get that announced. It'll be fun. Chicago's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, it'll prepare for a lot of a couple sleepless days, because I know we'll pack in every minute. And we'll get some good rates on hotels in Chicago from some of the people I know. So I think it'll be good. I'm excited about it.
If you're interested in going, invest now in good shoes, because we will walk.
Yeah, we will walk. Definitely will walk. So yeah, excited about that, and we'll get more info. I don't think we're going to couple it onto the back of out of Chicago.
No,
I think we'll do it separate from that, because that's a long time for you and I to be out.
Yeah, it is. We'd end up being gone for a week probably. So
yeah, to take off and everything. But
unless I drag my wife and kids along,
and
stick them in a hotel or an apartment somewhere. But, so that's good news. Fun. Definitely.
I agree. And so what else has been happening? You want to share your couple picks? I mean, we're about halfway in. So
all three of them? Do we have
all
time?
Three of them? Sure.
Yeah.
This is one of those lulls, man. Go ahead and say what you're going to say. I'm sure.
Oh, it's been rough for the last couple of weeks for me. I really haven't shot much. Man, it's embarrassing actually what I've got to share. So I'll just start. Boy. So of course I'm going to share our new dog. So this is Luna. Yes, she has an Instagram account. It's Luna_cuddles for those people who are interested in cute puppies. But this is basically like the middle of a series of shots shot with the Mark II. And this was just testing out the continuous autofocus tracking and the Pro Capture Low. So, or not Pro Capture Low, sorry, it was in sequential low. So this is, I think, like probably frame 15 or so of about a 25 or 26 frame setup. She's tiny. I mean, she's like super tiny. So it's hard to get a judgment of scale here or distance traveled, but I think she probably traveled, 35, 40 feet in this setup. So this, I just wanted to show the first shot. She was sitting perfectly still. And of course, that one's going to be sharp and in focus. And I called her over to me, and about halfway there, this is like I said, about the middle of the sequence. The only time I lost focus shooting her was when she got so close that the lens was not able to focus because it was beyond or she was within the minimum focusing distance, because this is with the 75 1.8, because I wanted to be able to blow out the background. So, again, I can't even emphasize enough how floored I am with the focus tracking on this camera. And that's part of the reason I'm looking forward to getting out shooting over the holidays. I'm going to head back to Kensington Metro Park and hopefully chase down the eagles and shoot some of them. Periodically, I will shoot human beings, not, with the camera, obviously. So this is probably the latest senior portrait session I could have ever imagined doing. But, when somebody's in a bind and they need some help, especially, when they're down to the wire with getting senior portraits done, of course, I'm going to definitely jump in there and help out. So this is a JPEG straight out of the camera on the Mark II. It was cool to be able to shoot like this entire set of photos for this senior and just take the JPEGs right off the camera and not even screw around in post. Pretty happy with that. So again, I'm really happy with how the JPEGs are turning out. And this last shot, I'm going back in time for this because I decided I hadn't done this yet. So I thought maybe I would go back into some of the older photos that I shot with the Mark II. And this was like in September with the Mark II. I'd just gotten it. It was actually the day after I got it. I went up to our camper and then went out that night to the pier in Grand Haven to do some astrophotography shooting. And this is with the E-M1 MarkII and the 25 millimeter 1.2. And this is at f1.2 and ISO 3200. Minimal adjustments made to this shot. All I really did, the lower part of the image was really, really orange. And in Lightroom, I just took the luminosity of the orange and lowered it so it wasn't so crazy bright. And I think that it's Milwaukee on the other side of Lake Michigan that's doing that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so I mean, this is like pretty much straight out of the camera, except for adjusting the luminosity of the orange channel and adjusting the black slider down to darken up the sky a little bit, and that's it. Pretty sick. I'm pretty pretty happy with how that has worked out. So I'm really looking forward to the fact that now that we're getting into cold weather, we'll have clear skies, and I'm going to try and get out and do some astro work. Although sadly, this time of year, the Milky Way comes. I won't even have access to the Milky Way. I think it rises like so early that it won't even be dark out at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know, I can at least still get some cool night sky shots. I'm just floored with the noise handling of that camera. That's ISO 3200, and I didn't adjust the noise at all. All I did was
crazy.
Adjust the orange and darken the blacks up, and that's it.
Yeah, and you're looking at over the internet and in YouTube and everything. So I imagine that shot is amazing.
Yeah. So I tell you what I can do is I'll actually, so if anybody follows me on Flickr, I'll put that on Flickr tonight. It's almost a duplicate of another shot that I've got with the Pen F, but I'll post this one up anyway so people can check it out. It's pretty.
Yeah, that's an awesome shot. I love that one. The dog one's great. I mean, all those dog ones are cool. Those darn dogs. Yeah. I'm cracking up about how she because it's a she, the new one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
How she gives a hard time to your older one.
Oh yeah, he's such a sissy.
I know. That's exactly how our old one was like around little ones like that.
Yep.
Scared like crap. So
yeah.
But all right. So we got to do this screen share here for now. Why isn't this coming up? Okay, Mike. It's here and it's looking at my screen.
Oh, there's a tab that says applications now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you go to screen share.
Application window. Thanks.
They keep changing stuff up on us.
All right. That'll make it easier. Okay. So did you see it?
Yep, I see.
All right. So you got to answer this first. This was the reason that we put in the teaser for the show. What in the heck? And let's make it even larger if we can. Oops. I don't want to do that. There we go. What is Jamie eating? What was that? Was that our quick lunch there?
Yeah. So it's funny. I'm sure somebody out there knows what these are. They're rambutan or hairy cherries. They're good. So I just picked them up from a street vendor in Chinatown. They're actually a really, really good fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. That was when I saw you buying those, I go, what the hell is he buying? I thought you're buying something for your kids. There's something, I'm going to eat these, man. So, all right. But all right, so Lionel, I get to go back and finally get to do some of my New York stuff, looking at it, and we were there in Chinatown at the same, it's probably right outside that place. This shot here again, straight out of the camera, JPEG. Well, I guess they're all JPEGs right now. We don't have much of the raw files, and I didn't do anything with the TIFF here, but just the colors are amazing here. This wasn't shot with any kind of art filter or anything, but the sharp colors, just right on the money of what that little fish store looked like. And you can imagine, you can almost hear the sounds, how loud it was in that. And then one of our goals together, we only had the few hours of shooting, was to get over to the Oculus, and so pulled out the 8mm fisheye with this and got really close to the floor with that thing, and just it just looks futuristic to me. It's like, where the heck is that thing at? You wouldn't believe it was in New York, and it's actually a subway station, train station. I mean, there's stores up in here and that, but how that is a sharp place to be in the angles, and I wonder what it's like on a different color day, because all this sunlight was starting to come through, and you could see reflections on the buildings over there because you're right next to the One Trade Center there. But down in the subway, we actually had to wait. I don't know what that one's about, Jamie, about 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah,
way long. Subway, crazy. But during that wait, of course, we had some guys, and this was one of those decisive moments. I just snapped And it just, none of these people know each other. They're all on a cell phone. They're all holding their left hand. Or I'm sorry, actually it's two lefts, one right. But at the same time, their necks are pretty much, cocked at the same angle. And it looked so funny that they were sitting there. It was like three blind mice. So I caught that picture, and that's the kind of stuff I like to grab, those decisive moments when people aren't really know what's going on. As soon as I got back, I was out into California, and this is in San Diego. And, if you follow me, you've probably seen some shots of this San Diego temple, Latter-day Saints temple, but they had just put up the Christmas lights literally that night when it just was turning dark. The last few lights were going up, and so beautiful. Is amazing church here. But it looks different, and this is only to me, maybe not to some people on the West Coast, but when you see lights off of palm trees, we don't have a lot of palm trees in Michigan. So I had to take pictures of that with that in the background. And then last weekend, I was out in Columbus with my son and his wife. They hosted Thanksgiving, which was fantastic this year. I really appreciate them doing that. But again, it got to, at the last second, they go, oh, we want to do a Christmas card picture or whatever. And they got this new little puppy that's probably going to be 110 pounds when it grows up. But it was really neat. And again, it's the 40 to 150 with the E-M1 MarkII. Just a great combination. Some real sharp pictures. And I actually did some pro capture in case one of them turned or the dog was turning. And I wanted to get something where the dog had a little bit of a mouth open, which was really nice. And, the human stayed pretty still, but the dog was a puppy, and puppies like to move. So it did work pretty well. And I was really happy with that. Let's see here. I'm trying to get back. Okay, there we go. We're back in. Yeah. All right. So pro capture works, boy. And I that's what I wanted to try it on.
I should have shared the photo that I shared on Facebook today that showed you shooting that shot at the Oculus.
Yeah.
That's one of those funny things, when you're shooting with other photographers, you're guaranteed to get shots of you shooting. Because I know Mike had a killer shot of the Flatiron. Was it of the Flatiron or was the World Trade Center, wasn't it?
No, the Flatiron.
Was it the Flatiron where I was shooting you?
Really, yeah. Shooting that. Yes. Yeah. It was that.
Mike standing out on a little traffic island in rush hour traffic in Manhattan.
That was awesome, man. I love that. I'm so happy you got that shot too, because that was exactly what I wanted to do. Is just get out in the middle of traffic and hope to God no one was going to run up the sides and hit me.
Well, Mike was shooting down the street, and there's I don't know if it's a bike messenger or someone on a bike turning right in front of him. And so Mike's photo has the bike messenger like right in front of him. And then if you look at my shot of Mike, you can see the bike messenger as well. I mean, I think we both pulled the trigger on those shots like
at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was cool.
Yeah. That was pretty neat that we got those at the same time without knowing what the heck we were doing or shooting like that.
So, let me just mention real quick. I know I'd gotten feedback from somebody, and I apologize for not mentioning who, because I can't remember because I'm getting old. But they asked that when we're sharing photos, if we can mention like settings. And I think for a lot of photos, it's probably not, necessary. If it's pretty straightforward shot, like the shot of the senior portrait that I shot, or probably, your son. Yeah. They're probably not anything that requires any kind of special attention, or whatever. But so the Milky Way shot that I took, I'll mention how that was done just because it's not a standard setting. So for the Milky Way shot, like I shot, I mentioned that it was with the 25mm f1.2. And I shot it at 1.2. So the reason being, the previous shot that I had taken from that exact location, but with the 7 to 14 millimeter on, I had to shoot at 6400. And not that the results were bad at 6400. I just wanted to see what the same shot, although field of view was different, obviously, because at 14 millimeters versus 25. But anyways, I digress. So basically, the original shot was ISO 6400, and I threw it on the E-M1 MarkII with the 25 at 1.2, so I could go at ISO 3200. So that's kind of why I did that setup. But I just wanted to say that it was at ISO 3200, manual focus, off in the distance to get focus. And that shot was run longer than it should have been run. I don't remember the exact time, but I'm going to say that it was like about 13 seconds or 14 seconds. I think that was a little long for that lens. But other than that, like I said, it was pretty much straight out of the camera. Built-in noise reduction.
Right.
So I guess I just wanted to throw that in there, like I said, because people were asking, to talk a little bit about settings for shots like that.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I remember saying. And in fact, I zipped through my other ones. I don't have anything that special, I don't think, on this last group. Those were all because they were pretty much out of the camera.
Yeah.
Simple shots. Nothing really done. But I know if I had live composites on there and that, I'd rather share that.
Right.
What I had done there. So.
And I guess I'll throw the question out there too for anybody watching now or watching later. In those instances where it doesn't really, sharing the settings really wouldn't help. But maybe it is definitely, because I post process all my stuff for the most part, runs through Lightroom in one way or another, except for those senior portrait photos, which thank God those were just straight out of the camera, easy for me. But a lot of my landscape stuff gets some post-processing work. So if people are interested, just leave a little feedback in the comments, and just mention that you're kind of curious about some of the process, and then if we do a photo share and there's an image that I know for sure that, that I worked on in post, I'll go over some of the techniques. I'm not going to go into it like in crazy depth, but I'll be glad to talk about it. So I just kind of wanted to mention.
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially the live composite stuff I do, because I always not only work on it in Lightroom, but I take it into On1. I've got a special pre-built, filter. I like to throw all of the live composite through for mine, just to
and that's funny because a lot of people probably don't realize that. A lot of people probably think straight out of the camera, and you can get straight out of the camera great live composite shots, but I mean yours pop,
and you want to work them a little bit. And I think that's the thing I always, when we talk about it, is, hey, this is coming out as a raw. Remember that. You can work this a little bit. So if you do get a little hot areas, you can usually, bring down your highlights and that to make it look the way that you remember seeing, at least how you felt you should have seen it there. So, let's see. This last week, I'll bring up, we don't have a segue, so I'm just going to bring it up about street photography. And our good friend who we've had on the show, Thomas Ludwig, out of Germany, he's the CEO of Cozy Speed, who makes great street shooting bags, like sort of hipster. They're not hipster bags. They're actually real, not hipster like you might think, mustache hipster. These are actually for your hip. And holsters, like a sling, like a gun shooter type thing. But check him out, Cozy Speed. But he just did a book about meditation, a guide for street photographers and meditation, and it's free. I'd say go out and check it out and download the thing if you're into street photography. Even if you're not, the tips he gives on meditation would work on any kind of photography, and a lot of it is slowing down and thinking through things, but there's some great photographers in there. I'm not going to say that I'm really feel that I'm in the same level of photographers that are in there because they are really good. But I'll tell you some of the other street photographers, like Valerie Jardin's in there, Eric Kim, who's amazing, Marco LaRuse, Thomas Loiter, again, another one that shoots a lot of Olympus, which is great. Rinzi Ruiz is great. Spiros, I can never say his last name. It's Greek, Papa, whatever, P. And then Forrest Walker. But, check it out. It's free. And each of us have a little portion we wrote for the book, a little interview we did. But it's called Keep the Focus. And we'll share the link in the show notes tonight. And check it out, though. I think you'll learn a lot from what Thomas wrote there. So
that's cool. That's super exciting stuff.
Yeah. I was happy to see he got it out, because I actually did stuff with him probably 6 or 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Sort of forgot that I had even done that stuff when you guys, oh crap, that's right.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, definitely. Like Mike said, the link will be in the show description below. So you got to download it and check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess that's it. I guess on the show wrap here, I just want to mention a project that, I don't know, stuff just pops up on your Facebook feed. And so this was for, God forbid, another camera bag. My wife can't hear me, so that's good.
Yeah.
And she doesn't watch the show, even better. So it's another camera bag. It's on Kickstarter. It's by Sal Sincata. And man, this bag has a couple of really, really freaking cool features. So I'm not going to go talking a ton about it. Like I said, it's on Kickstarter. I definitely think it's going to get funded.
Yeah, it's got, I'm looking at it right now.
He's got 100,000 goal. Yeah, he's 29 days to go. He's already at like 27 grand of $100,000 goal. So you'll definitely get a bag out of this. But just really quick mention, two things that really stood out about this bag that I haven't seen on any other bag. Number one is that there's this little expanding, like fold down pouch, so that when you're swapping lenses, you pull the lens off your camera, you just drop it into that little pouch, pull the other lens out of the bag, put it on. So instead of like tucking a lens under your arm and doing all that crap, or I hold them under my chin, which is, it's amazing. There's no hair in my lenses or something, but it's just a really cool design. And then he's also got this little pouch in the bottom of the bag, because the bag is designed with two shallow pockets for shorter lenses. And then on the other end of the bag, it's a deep pocket for a larger lens. Well, because you've got two shallow pockets underneath them, you've got empty space in the bag. So it's got a little zip open pouch. He calls it the junk drawer, which we have a junk drawer in my kitchen. So my wife would sympathize with that terminology, as would I, because the junk is all mine usually anyways. So yeah, I'll post a link to the Kickstarter. Don't know Sal. I mean, I know who he is and what he does, but I definitely think this bag is worth checking out, because everybody needs another bag.
Yeah, what does he call it? The bug out bag?
Bug out bag. Yeah. It's not like he's some crazy prepper or nothing.
Right.
But it's definitely super cool. And I think it's, like I said, it's got a couple of features I've never seen on a bag. So that's it's a rare thing.
More bags. I can hear.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So
Don't
I guess
tell Vicky. Don't tell Vicky.
Yeah. Holy cow. She's got more bags than anybody I know. So I guess that's it for tonight's show. Mike said that we wanted to talk about Christmas lists. So Mike and I both had done just some really basic buyer's guides for people who are shopping, for photography related gifts, I guess you could say. So if your significant other is looking for gift ideas, send them to this video. Tell them they don't have to watch the video. They can just look in the description below, and there'll be links to the two different lists that we've kind of established. And if you do go and get anything from those lists, Mike and I both have affiliate accounts at Amazon. We don't even come remarkably close to making a living off of any of this stuff, but
pretty hungry.
every penny counts. It actually helps fund workshops and stuff. So
exactly.
So thanks if you guys do shop from those links. And with that, I guess we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep. All right. Take it easy, man. See ya.
See ya.